Welcome, everyone, to the Next Gen Philanthropy Forum. There are, There are about 130 of us here, and I understand I know we have people from Toronto, certainly Ottawa, Quebec. That's wonderful. In fact, I think this is, I'm going to tell you a bit about the Inclusive Giving Project, but this is the 7th of 12 workshops we're doing in this series, and I know there are at least a couple of organizations that are sending someone to every single one. Do we have any in this room? One. Yay. That's great. Fantastic. You'll be one of the few people who can actually maybe join us as we put our learnings together. So my name is Leah Huestis, and I'm chair-elect of the AFP Foundation for Philanthropy Canada, and I'm also co-chair of the Inclusive Giving Project. And many of my fellow management committee members are here. Maybe you guys could just stand up, and then if people, Janet, Lori, Christian, Nancy. So we spend a lot of time on the phone together working on this series of conferences. If anyone has any questions along the way, grab one of us or anyone on the Next Gen Philanthropy Committee. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here today. And before we move into our first discussion of the day, I want to tell you a little bit more about the Inclusive Giving Project. Ontario is considered one of the most diverse regions in the world. There are over 200 ethnic groups and 100 different languages spoken. 1 in 5 people in Ontario was born in another country, which is the highest amongst, in fact, Canada is the highest amongst all G8 countries in that regard. 32% of Canadians speak a language other than English. Here in Ottawa, that's 40%. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of diversity. And 28%, so almost 30%, creeping up on a third of Ontario's population is made up of immigrants, which is the highest percentage in the country. So in recent years, we've made considerable strides in areas such as gender equity, accessibility, diversity training across different sectors. But we at the Foundation felt there was a gap when it came to exploring diversity within philanthropy. So 2 years ago, in partnership with the AFP Toronto and the Ottawa chapters, we applied for funding through the Ministry of Citizenship and Immigration's Partnership Office to launch a series that would allow us to take a long-term view on inclusion by uncovering stories of giving amongst emerging donor groups and to carve out a dedicated space for very honest and open exchange about how to strengthen our work and build relationships within and amongst our different communities. So our project is really a number of organized presentations like today that bring together, for the first time anywhere in Canada, donors, fundraisers, volunteers, and nonprofit managers to look at what we know and what we don't know about giving within the community and how we can work together to become a world-class, forward-thinking, and inclusively minded sector. As I said, this is the 7th of the 12 workshops we're organizing. So already we've examined philanthropy in the South Asian, Chinese, Jewish, African and Caribbean, and Indigenous communities, as well as amongst women. And over the next year, or less than a year actually, about 10 months, in addition to this conference, we'll be holding workshops focused on Franco-Ontarians, the LGBTQ community, Muslim, people with disabilities, and Hispanic philanthropy. Each of these conferences is being recorded and archived for future reference. You'll see over to the right, we are graphically recording this particular conference, which I'm really interested to see how that works and how that goes. The best part is that all of these materials will be available for free on the afpinclusivegiving.ca website. And certainly all the video is being uploaded to YouTube for viewing. So if you missed one of the conferences and you're interested in learning more about that community, you can find that all. It's all free. If you're on Twitter, please use the hashtag Inclusive Giving. Are we also using Next Gen? No? Yeah? Okay. Inclusive Giving is what we'll use, and that's consistent through all the conferences. And that will keep you up to date on to the day's events and other resources that we'll be tweeting out through the day. We've articulated 5 overarching learning outcomes from this project. First, we want to develop our cross-cultural competencies. Second, we want to rethink and examine the ways in which fundraisers identify, cultivate, solicit, and thank donors. Third, we want to learn about the best ways to promote and engage people on the ground and at leadership levels. Fourth, we want to gain appreciation of the nuances found within each community, so the diversity within diversity factor. I think we'll be seeing a lot of that today. And finally, we want to offer cross-cultural networking opportunities and develop a research initiative that may stem from these events. And at the end, we hope to have created a foundation from which new conversations and more advanced information sharing can take place. This really is a first for our sector, both in Ontario and Canada, and perhaps internationally. So, really, let's treat this as an open conversation about this particular topic. And it's a conversation that was recognized just a few months ago by the Association of Fundraising Professionals when the project was awarded the Charles R. Stevens Excellence in Diversity Award back in October. So thank you for your interest and for coming out today. And now it gives me great pleasure. Oh yeah, and maybe if you could silence your phones, but tweet, please. You're allowed to do it now. You get one free pass. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the chair of our Next Gen Philanthropy Advisory Committee. Samantha Banks is the Director of Initiatives for the Emerging Generation at the Jewish Federation of Ottawa, and she sits on the AFP Ottawa Chapter Board and is Chair of Government Relations on that board. She's a graduate of the Humber Fundraising Program, and she has a BFA in Contemporary Dance. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm hoping for a little entertainment while she's up here. No pressure, Sam. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Leah. It is an honor to have a trailblazer in the fundraising community with us today. Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. Whether you are a professional, volunteer, or donor, working to engage and raise money from the next generation of your organization is an absolutely thrilling roller coaster ride. It can be exciting, challenging, innovative, untraditional, but also traditional, and it really depends on your leadership. I think we can all agree that as fundraisers, we wear several hats. Some days we're event promoters, social media gurus, and trip counselors. Other days we're arts and crafts experts, delivery drivers, and complete finance departments. But the best days of all are when you get those late night phone calls and become the cheapest psychologists in the city. There is no perfect textbook formula that you will walk away with today. But if your non-for-profit can find a recipe that allows for career advancement and networking opportunities, mixed with informal schmoozing and topped off with the perfect balance of both giving time and money, I promise you will have donors to carry on the goals and visions of your organizations for many years to come. Today, we have set out to try and debunk some of Ottawa's most challenging matters facing the non-for-profit sector. We have brought to you the experts and pioneers of NextGen in fundraising, events, granting, and storytelling. To my right, we have Jennifer Shepherd from Living Tapestries. Jennifer joins us today to boost our capacity to process information. She will be creating a graphic storyboard of our 2 plenary panels. Her visually engaging synthesis will help us to remember the essential ideas from today's forum. We will also be sending you an electronic copy, as Leah said. We also have at every table lovely people with little red dots on their name tags. They are the VIPs of today, the very important philanthropists. Thank you all for being here. These people have volunteered their time, and we are so appreciative, so make sure to ask them challenging questions and pick their brains.